So, guys, welcome once again to another episode of Scott Talks Law. So, this is Scott's Legal Channel. For those who are new, this is Scott's Legal Channel, and subscribe to Scott's Legal Channel. So, in today's episode, we are going to look at the certainty of trusts. So, this is the law of equity and trusts. So, we are going to look at the certainty of trusts. So the certainty of trust, there are three types of certainty of trust, and for the law to enforce trust, it must be certain, and that trust must be certain. So there are three types of trust. We have the certainty of subject matter, certainty of intention, and certainty of object. Let's start with the certainty of intention. For the court to enforce a trust under this certainty of intention, the court must be convinced that indeed there was intention in creating that particular trust. With no intention, then the court will not enforce because there was no intention, and that will take us to precatory words. So there are those precatory words which don't express any intention whatsoever. They just express the wishes. And examples of these precatory words is like I would like. You say I would like to create a trust. I would like. Really? No. And I desire, I wish, I hope. Those are examples of precatory words. So these precatory words don't create any intention in creating a trust. So they are just words of morals, but they are not intentional words. So if you say use precatory words, the court cannot enforce that trust because it's just a wish and it's a desire, and it's not an intention. It does not express an intention in creating a trust. So the trust must be certain for the court to enforce it. So we also have another certainty of subject matter. Under this certainty of subject matter, the subject matter of the trust must be certain. And in the case of Spranch versus Bernard, and the case of Palmer versus Simmons. So under this case of Palmer versus Simmons, the residual estates did not communicate the subject matter. So this person just created a trust and placed the obligations to the husband that my residual residence should be given and should be shared between the beneficiaries. But remember that word residual residence does not indicate the subject matter. So there are still those questions that what residual residence? Is it the house? Is it the what is it? What is this residual residence? You see it is not clear what particular subject matter or what particular thing is being intended to be created and to be placed under trust. So in the case of Palmer versus Simmons, the court could not enforce because there was uncertainty. There still existed this question that which particular trust are you talking about? Is it a house? Is it what is it that you are talking about? So that is the case of Palmer versus Simmons. We also have that case of Spranch versus Bernard. So under this case of Spranch versus Bernard, the trust was to be created and placed for to benefit the young children, but there was no subject matter was not clear, so the court could not enforce. We also have the case of London Wines Company. So this is a trust that was created, but later on the company went into liquidation. I don't think it's the London Wines Company or the Gold Cup. I think it's the London Wines Company. So this company went into liquidation. So the people who had placed their trust, or the ones who were to benefit from that trust, claimed that they wanted to be benefited, but the court could not because the subject matter was not specific. They didn't know which particular wine was held in trust. So that particular case, the subject matter was not specific. Also the case of the Gold Cup case, so the subject matter was not specific. The court could not enforce. So that is the certainty of subject matter. And we also have the case of Richard versus Delbridge. The Richard versus Delbridge case. So in this case of Richard versus Debris, someone wanting to create a trust for the grandson, but the trust property was not certain, so the court could not enforce. For you to enforce a trust under the certainty of trust, the subject matter, the object, and the intention must be certain. So under the certainty of objects, the objects are the beneficiaries. To create a particular trust, the beneficiaries need to be known. Who are you creating the trust? Who are you intending to benefit? If they are not specified, then the court cannot enforce that particular trust. The court is supposed to be satisfied that this type of trust is intended to benefit the particular persons who are to benefit from that trust. Those people must be certain, they must be specified, they must be known. So that is the certainty of objects. So the certainty of trust, there are three. Under this certainty of objects, Lord Evershed tried to bring out that aspect that the particular subject matter, the particular objects or beneficiaries must be known beyond reasonable doubt, and we didn't just know that these are the people but not anyone else, and it is intended to benefit this particular specific group, and the specific group is known, and that is considered under this certainty of object. So that is all about the certainty of trust. There are three types of certainty of trust: the certainty of subject matter, the certainty of object, and the certainty of intention. So these types of trust must be certain. They must be clearly stated for court to enforce them. So that's all about the certainty of trust. So that is all about the certainty of trust. So thank you and have a good day.